If I were to ask you guys, what makes a perfect World War II shooter? How would you guys respond? For me personally, when it comes down to Call of Duty specifically, I always fall back on one perfect example, and that is Call of Duty World at War. Single-handedly, probably one of my favorite Call of Duty games ever designed, not only for the single-player campaign, but also the multiplayer experience and the zombies experience as well. World at War, until this day, is probably one of the only shooters that's ever been able to do that. Yes, there's been other World War II games out there that are really fun, very enjoyable. I'm not saying that other games out there are bad, but when it comes to bringing the realistic experience of what World War II is all about into the multiplayer side of things, usually you have to leave those things to tac shooters. You know, when it comes to arcade games, they never really care about realism or historical accuracy. They don't give a crap about any of that stuff when it comes to multiplayer. As long as the game runs and people are having an enjoyable experience, that's all that matters. But Treyarch was somehow able, not only being able to bring an extremely playable experience to the table, but also mixing in the core World War II vibes within the game as well. And you might be wondering, what the actual hell are you talking about, JB? Well, when you load up Call of Duty World at War, one of the best factors about that game is it tells so many different stories about the core war itself. It's not like Call of Duty World War II where they had one significant battle. No, it showed battles across the whole globe, and it was phenomenal. And they were able to show what World War II was truly about. And they transferred that same experience over to the multiplayer side. They were able to bring in all the factions, all the insane gore from campaign, the insane cost, the voice acting, also transferred over straight into multiplayer. Everything about the World at War experience across the whole board, campaign to multiplayer to zombies even, you get the same exact vibe from the game. Compared to, like I just said, World War II for another example, which was decent. It wasn't a bad campaign, obviously. You know, they have a very massive budget, so they're able to make things, you know, very pretty and ooh, ah, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, across the whole board, I did not get a World War II vibe. Same thing with Battlefield 5. Across the whole board, I did not get a World War II vibe. Something about these recent games just haven't been hitting. It's almost like they're too scared to make sure things are historically correct. But here comes Call of Duty Vanguard. And for me personally, what I see out of this whole scenario, it's kind of like a redemption round for Sledgehammer Games. I know that the Call of Duty World War II game that they released wasn't up to standards compared to a game like Call of Duty World at War. It might have been playable and extremely fun, and I still play it till this day because it's just a really fast-paced, arcadey, action-packed shooter, so I enjoy it. But when it comes down to the World War II vibes, they were completely absent. So, how I see Call of Duty Vanguard is, you know, a makeup round. They're trying to make up to the community for what they lacked with their previous game. And as we already know in Vanguard, they're showing off multiple factions. I mean, I think it's even more war stories are going to be told in Call of Duty Vanguard compared to World at War, which is phenomenal. That is exactly not only me, but a mass majority of the community wanted out of a World War II shooter that's from Call of Duty. But this is one of my biggest problems when it comes to Call of Duty Vanguard. And I know, not too many people are probably going to agree with me, but I like to be a little controversial when it comes to this YouTube channel. But what is one of the biggest things, or one of the main things that we have seen over the course of maybe 4 to 5 years when it comes to Call of Duty? Specialists, operators, personal characters that you can customize and pretty much make your own. Which, honestly, I don't have too many problems with that when it comes to near-futuristic games or even modern-day games. Black Ops Cold War, it's a little iffy. I don't know how to feel about it, but like I said, with modern-day games and near-futuristic, it's cool to actually have legitimate characters, which they do use real-life characters. Like, all of the operators, when it comes to Modern Warfare, are all real individuals. They're real people that you can look up. They all have Twitter handles and stuff like that. A lot of them are in the military, the police force, training certain individuals, weapons specialists. It's actually pretty badass to see these things. And even though I like being a random soldier, like back in the days with Call of Duty 4 or Black Ops 1, because it feels like I'm in the bigger picture of the battle. Being an individual specialist kind of takes you out of the scene because it doesn't seem like you're in a big battle. It just seems like, you know, you're kind of in a specialist versus specialist operation, you know? So it makes it a little less realistic, like you're in a real, live, massive war. But that's okay, because it's Call of Duty, and I'm down for that type of change of pace. But this is the problem when it comes to a World War II shooter. Yes, it's fantastic that Call of Duty Vanguard is bringing in multiple factions for the campaign side, but that's not going to work when it comes to multiplayer. You see, in Call of Duty World at War, they already had set teams versing each other. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have specialists that you could choose and customize. You know, there weren't specialist characters that were mixing on the same team like the Americans and Germans on the same team, or an American soldier with a Japanese soldier on the same team. You know, it doesn't make any logical sense, and if they were going to do that in Call of Duty Vanguard, that would completely take you out of the vibes of the whole game and once again, completely kill off the World War II experience. I know a lot of people could give two craps about the core vibes or the realism of the game, but for me personally, that truly takes me out of the whole environment. I could not be able to take the game seriously if I'm an American soldier and I'm fighting on the same team as a frickin' German Nazi, and that makes me pretty sad. Because I know for a fact that the developers are not going to go with this design decision. It's stupid and it will just make no logical sense. And Like I just said, people will get pulled out of the World War II experience, and they would probably go and play a different World War II shooter that actually makes logical sense. Especially after bragging and boasting about having a very hyper-realistic campaign that's very historically accurate. It's impossible to go from that, and then you go over to the multiplayer side, like I said, and you're American playing with a Japanese on your team as well. You see what I'm saying here? There's no chance they're going to do this. So my question is, are they going to go back to the same pattern as Call of Duty World War II, where we're going back with the bland, basic, two-sided team? We got the Germans, we got the Americans, and that's it. If you ask me what I want out of it, I would say I want something more like the Battlefield 5 pattern. I know it's a little confusing to understand at first, but Battlefield 5, when they released more factions, they had a setup for each and every team that you could possibly use. Now, it was a little too extra because they allowed you to choose and, customize each and every skill, like an assault player, support player, sniper rifle, and you had to change each and every individual character on each and every team. So you had like 4, 8, 12, like 16 plus players that you have to change and customize, so it was a little too much, but I like the idea of being able to choose between multiple factions. That way, when you hop into a multiplayer match in Battlefield 5 and you get put on a map that has two set teams that are supposed to be going against each other, it makes a logical sense for them to be going against each other because it's historically correct. You can have both sides of the team that you personally customized. People who are history buffs that wanted to be historically accurate 24/7, they'll be able to pick the teams that they want, and it's not going to be all mixed matched with Americans and Germans on the same side. It'll actually make sense, and you'll still be able to have complete utter customization over your soldiers and be able to make them exactly how you want. Now, to me personally, that is exactly how a World War II game is supposed to play when it comes to the multiplayer side. You're allowed to use all the factions exactly how they're supposed to be used, which teams that are already set to verse each other because it's history, it's World War II, we're not making anything up here, this is all legitimate history, and still being able to completely customize each and every soldier for each side of the battle. But will Call of Duty be able to do this? Will Call of Duty actually run through with this method, or are they going to stick to the same bland side? Well, I think they're going to stick with the same bland side. That's why I'm personally stressed about this. If you look in all the gameplay or all the trailers and stuff like that, they have set specialists, set operators on both teams, pretty much looking like almost the same characters, which to me personally means that we're not even going to be versing Americans versus Germany or anything of that sort. It's just going to be specialists versing specialists. Again, nothing really bad there. When it comes down to a Call of Duty game, all that really matters is the gunplay and how fluent the maps are, etc., etc. We already go over all these things in multiple other videos, and I probably will be ranting about different things that are game-breaking in Vanguard when the game finally releases. But in this video specifically, we're talking about customization, and that will seriously affect the overall customization of the game. Not only is it insulting to come from a campaign that looks amazing over to a multiplayer side that has absolutely no factions to play between, which, again, makes no logical sense, but it's also pure laziness by Activision. I don't think it's a Sledgehammer problem. Again, I think it's Activision, and they're forcing agendas onto Sledgehammer games. And again, like I said, it's pure laziness. Instead of having to come up with 4+ different factions with 4+ different unique, skins and camos and all these different things for each faction to make it look cool and unique, they just came up with like 5-6 specialists. And that's it. You only have 5 to 6 specialists to choose from with barely any camos, and they're going to sell out all these different things in the store for each and every one of these individuals. If this is the case, then World at War is going to reign supreme once again as the all-time best World War II game. And I'm extremely happy that we got World at War, because that right there is the only way that we'll ever know what a good World War II game is supposed to look like for the Call of Duty scene. Could you imagine what the Call of Duty franchise would look like without a solid World War II game in place? And I'm not saying Call of Duty 1 through 3 are bad. They're really solid games, but when it comes to a more updated, arcadey style multiplayer experience like Call of Duty 4, how that revolutionized the whole multiplayer scene, Call of Duty World at War was next up, and it was phenomenal. It took a World War II shooter to the whole next level. I'm forever thankful for that game, because now when you get stuff like this Vanguard, we're able to look back on a masterpiece and compare it to see if it's truly a good World War II game, or if they're just slacking and being lazy. I'm not saying Vanguard's going to be bad, and I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm trying to stay neutral here until the game releases and I actually get hands-on, and I at least get like a month or two of playtime, over the honeymoon phase and all that stuff, and then I'll give my official opinion over this title. But so far the campaign looks amazing. But if the rest of the game can't follow up to what the campaign offers, it's going to flop. A World War II shooter, or any game in general, has to carry over the vibes across the whole board. Modern Warfare did it. That's what makes it so popular till this day. Even though it's a lot of people who hate that game, including myself, even though I'm playing it right now. I'm just prepping. I'm prepping myself for Vanguard since they're on the same exact engine. But even though not too many people enjoyed this shooter, it is extremely popular to a lot of players. It made millions, if not billions, and it was the producer of Warzone, which is like literally the biggest thing in Call of Duty history right now. Modern Warfare was able to keep the vibes across the whole board. It went from campaign to multiplayer to Spec Ops, and they kept it perfectly. That's why it's so popular. If Vanguard can't do the same, it's going to flop, and it's going to be known as a subpar, half-assed World War II experience. But guys, I'm going to call it quits for the commentary there. If you guys enjoyed today's commentary, make sure you leave a like above. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have a Twitter and Discord. Both of those links are down in the description. And also, if you want to catch me live streams of video games I do over on Twitch, link that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.